Alright, how you guys doing? My name is Scott, and yeah, I'm liking this class already, and for this little monologue, story comes to mind right away that I could think of. It was the year 2010. I was just starting a position at a new job at Kodak here in Orlando. They run event imaging for parks all around the country, Six Flags, Universal, Disney, and other things. But anyways, I'm a designer over there, so I was very excited. Not normally my normal atmosphere, but it was great. It was got in the office, and I get in there. After I accepted this position, I got my tour around the office. I got kind of the rundown of the way things are working. And on the tour, first thing that comes to my mind is the kitchen. I'm an early riser, so lunch is always forefront of my mind. So I'm like, okay, got the tour done, kind of got my bearings straight, and I'm like, it's 11 o'clock, it's time to, heat up my lunch. So I walk in there and I see one of those 5-gallon water buckets that, you get your water from, and you have the nice Zephyr Hills bottle that sits on there, and I'm like, cool. Go to get some water for myself, and I notice the bucket's empty. So I'm like, well, I'll be a nice guy, I'll refill this thing, and you have to take the big bucket. The only thing I could see, there's no instructions, was to start pouring and then set the bucket on top. So I'm like, all right, I'll be a nice guy, I'll get this done. People are like, look at him, he's a go-getter and he's helpful. So I start doing this, I start pouring the water a little bit, grabbing the bucket, the water bottle, and out of nowhere, this thing slips. I go to try and catch it. As it does that, I pour more water on the ground. The water hits the ground. All of a sudden, my feet hit the ground, throw the water bottle into the air. Mind you, this thing weighs 42, 43 pounds. It flies up in the air, hits right on the corner. Thing starts spinning around, hit at just the perfect angle to where it turned itself into a giant sprinkler. That made a bunch of noise, that made a bunch of commotion, and yeah, that was great. Then I slipped into it again after I thought I caught myself, and I just fall straight down into my dress shirt and my new khaki pants I bought for the job. On top of that, this water bottle's hitting memorabilia from all over, the different parks and the things they've collected. It's trashing all of that. I slip into it and fall, and then everyone comes to see the new guy, day one, sitting in the puddle of water in his clothes. To make matters worse, a guy helps me clean that up. We got that out of there. We all had a good laugh. People made fun of me for the entire time I was there. Yeah. But to make matters worse, there were some big wigs, some execs in town. They were in town for a meeting that we all had to go to. So we all had to go to this boardroom to have a big meeting, and they're like introduce me. They were going to introduce me as like the new guy, as our new designer. But since my clothes had got soaking wet, I had to grab some clothes that we had for employees of theme parks, like the guys that used to take your photo when you walk into Universal or Disney or something. So that's a bright yellow polo and with a giant red Kodak on it and some, black pants. That's not something that the employees typically wear. So not only do I look like an idiot in front of the execs, they're wondering why I'm even there, thinking that, I'm just a random park employee shooting photos in the park. And yeah, so that's about how that first day on the job went. I was super excited, and then it turned out to be one giant mess. Of course, the comedy errors, led to me getting a nickname. Don't recall what that was, but that was talked about the entire 5 years I was at that position, was my mishap on the first day. Figured that's probably the best story I can think of when it comes to telling humor in a little monologue. But thank you guys for listening. And glasses, yeah, I'm not trying to be weird. I have my camera in front of me with my flip out screen, and if I stare at the screen, then my eyes are looking off to the wrong side. I learned this trick from my friend Casey Neistat on YouTube. The glasses, like I said, he says he wears them all the time, so you can look directly at the screen even though you need to be looking over here, but no one can tell when you got the glasses on. A little vlogging tip there. Thank you guys for listening, and hope to hear all your stories.